sent the Letters from Dad book to Zig Ziglar. And after he read it, he called me and he said, Duke, I'm going to do that. I'm going to write a letter to my wife, my children, my grandchildren, because I see the impact of that. He then called me up and said, would you please come down? He said, I meet with 30 businessmen a month. I want you to tell them the impact that Letters from Dad has had in your life, and as you're teaching men to do that. But he said, I want them to hear it from you since you sent me the book. I said, I certainly will. Well, I went down, and Zig, in his true fashion, he has a lot of flowery words to say, and said, you know, I wanted to introduce you to a man that's affected my life by giving me this book called Letters from Dad. And he said, I've seen the benefit of it. And he says, matter of fact, I've invited all you here today so you can hear what Letters from Dad has done in Duke's life and consequently in my life. And by the way, he would tell you, if you haven't written a letter to your wife and your children, you're not a good father. Okay, Duke, you're up. Well, I started to talk, and a man sitting in the front row put his hand up and said, wait a second. He said, are you telling me I'm not a good father if I haven't written a letter to my son? I said, well, I don't know. Have you written one to him? He said, no. I said, you're not a good father? He said, you don't have any right to tell me that. You don't even know me. He said, I work with my son and I tell him every day how much I love him. And I said, well, sir, obviously I know you do love your son, but if you don't mind me saying, I know that you told me previously that you have 10,000 people that work for you. I saw you drive up in your Lamborghini. Sir, could I play a little scenario with you? As you leave this little seminar, get out on the highway and bang, a truck hits you and now you're no more. What will your son have tomorrow? Can he hear your voice? He said, well, of course not. I said, well, he could read a letter that you wrote. So I went through the presentation, and when I got done, he came up with tears in his eyes and he said, you know, I now understand the impact of Letters from Dad. And so from that, many men went on to write letters to their wife and their children. And the impact from that, of course, is a duplication effect of many generations of legacy that's been done with Letters from Dad.